Do you believe that Mary, the Mother of God, once appeared right here on this S-shaped land, that miracles are not merely distant fairy tales from Fatima or mysterious lights in the sky at Lourdes, but truly happened in the heart of a Vietnam scarred by war and poverty, yet never ceasing to look up to heaven and beg for God's mercy through the intercession of the Mother? And the Mother came, and she still comes, gently and full of grace. From the war-torn days at Vang to the mysterious light shining upon Mount Ta Pao. From the forgotten statue of the Mother shedding tears in Giang Son to the phenomenon of the Virgin Mary's statue changing the color
From
of
the
its extraordinary
robe in
blessing
Hoa
during the season of mass graves at the Unborn Children's
to the quiet
Cemetery
apparition
on Bai Dau Hill beneath the sunset sky of Vang. These miracles were not woven from imagination. They come from the truthful accounts of humble people. From nuns living quiet lives, from mothers who once prostrated themselves, praying for the life of their dying child. They are quiet yet powerful testimonies. Gentle invitations from the Mother to a nation that has endured so much suffering, yet still knows how to keep the faith. On today's journey, Duc Tin Audio invites you not merely to hear about 10 miracles, but to listen to the invitations from Mother Mary herself. Quiet yet powerful messages echoing through every sign, every gaze, every statue, every tear flowing from the Mother's cheek. This video is not just to move you emotionally, but to help you realize a sacred truth. Mother Mary is still with the Vietnamese people. The miracles are not things of the past. They have never ceased. They are simply continuing quietly, and waiting for only one thing: your heart. Only when your heart opens, will you see that the Mother has never abandoned us, and the signs of her love continue every day. Miracle 1. Our Lady's apparition at Vang, a source of comfort amid persecution. Have you ever wondered? In your darkest moments, who will stand beside you? The answer was given more than 200 years ago, in a dense forest in Quang Triec province, where the first Vietnamese Catholics had to flee because of the bloody persecution under the Ta Pao dynasty. It was the year 1798. The authorities ordered a ban on the faith, and hunted down the faithful, forcing hundreds of people to take refuge in the Vang forest, a dense, damp place filled with snakes, insects, and disease. There was no medicine and no food. They could only pray and trust in heaven. Then something miraculous happened. On a mysterious night, amid the sounds of insects and the cold moonlight, a woman in a long cloak carrying the child Jesus appeared upon the brightly illuminated banyan tree. Mary, the Mother of God, came. She did not appear only once. She appeared on many consecutive nights, comforting the faithful, teaching them to gather nearby leaves as medicine, encouraging them to remain steadfast in faith. The Mother did not bring sensational miracles, but granted healing for both body and soul. From then on, Vang became a holy place. Countless generations of Vietnamese have made pilgrimages there with tears and prayers, believing that amid the wilderness of trials, the Mother would never abandon them. Perhaps the Mother's silence and patience are the greatest miracle of all. No strange lights were needed, no heavens opening above, only her gentle presence, enough to warm the trembling hearts of humanity. Today, the shrine of Vang is not only a religious symbol, but living proof that when people pray through tears, God and Mother Mary always answer. Mother, you did not forget the Vietnamese people in their darkest days. Please do not forget me today, amid the silent confusion of modern life. If you think Vang is the only place where the Mother appeared, then listen to the next story. A place also covered by forests and mountains, also home to people quietly praying amid life's uncertainties. A place no one expected Mother Mary to choose for a miracle. Let us continue to Bai Dau in Vang Tao, where the Mother appeared once again with sorrowful yet loving eyes. For the Vietnamese people. Miracle 2. The Virgin Mary's statue sweating at Ho Nai Parish, Dong Nai. On an afternoon in May, the month dedicated to honoring the Blessed Mother, where thousands of Catholics live. The church was filled with a sacred atmosphere, as the congregation prayed the rosary. Several parishioners suddenly noticed a strange phenomenon. The statue of the Blessed Mother beside the church began to exude moisture from its face and hands. Many thought it was condensation. But what could not be denied was that the droplets formed one by one, flowing from the forehead down the cheeks, then gathering. It could not be denied that the droplets formed one by one, flowing from the forehead down the cheeks. People did not feel coldness, then gathering in the hands, as though the mother herself that moved witnesses weeping for humanity. The parish priest and the parish council immediately came to examine the phenomenon. They wiped the statue dry, but after only a few minutes, moisture appeared again. For 3 consecutive days, the phenomenon continued, most noticeably during the evening prayers. The news spread quickly, and thousands came to Honai Parish to witness it with their own eyes. Even non-Catholics came, filled with curiosity yet unable to hide their reverence. A 54-year-old woman who was not Catholic said she had stage 3 liver cancer. That day, a friend invited her to see the unusual statue, but she still had doubts in her heart. So she stood at a distance until she saw the statue weeping with moisture. She suddenly burst into tears. Without understanding why, she knelt down, quietly begging the mother to save her. After that day, her liver pain greatly diminished. A week later, she returned for a checkup. The doctors were astonished. When the tumor had shrunk by nearly half without any special medical intervention, the sweating statue at Honai seemed to be a gentle warning from Mother Mary to her children. Stay vigilant, return to God, and love one another more. Forgive and open your hearts to those who are suffering. This miracle not only attracted countless pilgrims, but also brought about profound conversions in the hearts of hundreds of people. The statue still stands there today, ordinary like any other statue of the Mother. But for those who witnessed the phenomenon that day, the Mother is no longer a distant figure in the scriptures, but a true Mother, living among us, quietly supporting, comforting, and healing. Some say that witnessing it once is enough to believe. But some miracles happen not for us to see with our eyes, but to feel with our hearts. And that is exactly what happened atop Mount Ta Pao, where Mother Mary chose to leave her mark among the forests of Ben Thuan, yet move millions of hearts. Miracle 3, the statue of Our Lady of Ta Pao, a light of hope amid the wilderness. It was an early morning in September 1999 at the remote Mount Ta Pao in Ben Thuan province. This place had long been nearly forgotten, overgrown with dense forest, without electricity or roads, with only a cement statue of the Blessed Mother over 2 meters tall. Built in 1960 and left abandoned for decades. Yet a series of miraculous events transformed it into one of Vietnam's largest pilgrimage centers. It began with a small group of local Catholics who came to pray and offer flowers on Marian feast days. They said that whenever they stood before the statue, they felt the Mother's eyes were alive, filled with love and understanding. Then the story spread. People from everywhere began flocking to Ta Pao. And then something extraordinary happened. A seriously ill woman from Dong Nai, after being carried up Mount Ta Pao by her husband, returned home able to walk again through the power of faith. She said, "At that moment I could only say to the Mother, if you still love me, please save me." Then I fell asleep. When I woke up, I found that my legs could move. Then I walked, one step at a time. Amid my husband's tears, the news spread rapidly. So much so that the authorities had to control the flow of pilgrims. Yet strangely, even without organizers or public announcements, thousands still persevered through the forest, crossing the mountains, carrying incense and candles, white flowers, and all the burdens of their lives to offer them to the Mother. The blind regained their sight. The disabled walked again. The childless had children. Many witnesses signed testimonies, along with their medical records, before and after photographs. They asked for nothing except to give thanks. This place became a refuge for tens of thousands of suffering people. And what moved people the most was the Mother's face through the years, through sun and rain, still seeming to smile gently, looking down upon her children. The name Ta Pao originally meant a basket for carrying cakes. In the local language, it suddenly became sacred, as though the Mother were giving heavenly nourishment to her children. From then until now, for more than 20 years, the stream of pilgrims has never ceased. And if one day you come here, do not rush to ask for anything. Simply stand in silence and look into the Mother's eyes, a love and embracing your entire life. If Ta Pao is where the Mother waits for her children to come, then elsewhere, she came to humanity herself. Once again, at a time when an entire parish was overcome with anxiety, the Mother appeared as a reassurance that she would never abandon her children. The next story took place in a small parish in Bien Hoa, where darkness had settled, yet where the Mother's light shone brilliantly. Miracle 3, the Blessed Mother's statue changed the color of its robe during a night of prayer in Bien Hoa. Completely in prayer, the Blessed Mother's statue changed the color of its robe during a night of prayer in Bien Hoa. Bien Hoa, when faith is placed, where most parishioners were humble laborers whose lives were still full of hardships. A strange phenomenon occurred that brought hundreds of witnesses to tears. It was not sounds echoing from heaven, nor dazzling light breaking through the clouds, like the famous apparitions at Fatima or Guadalupe, but a quiet and gentle change, just like Mother Mary's own heart. It happened on the first Saturday evening of the month, the traditional day when Catholics offer flowers and pray with Mother Mary. From early afternoon, the faithful had gathered in the chapel to pray the rosary together, sing hymns and pray for their families and loved ones, and especially for the critical surgery of a child in the parish. On the altar, the statue of the Blessed Mother stood majestically in a pure white robe. The statue was not large, only about 60 centimeters tall. It was placed inside a simple glass case. Surrounding it were white flowers, roses, and burning candles. Night gradually fell. At around 2 a.m., as everyone entered the third rosary cycle, a woman sitting in the front row suddenly burst into tears and grabbed her friend's hand. Mother is wearing a blue robe. Her robe has changed. At first, many thought it was the lighting or tired eyes after hours of prayer. But when all eyes turned toward the statue of the Blessed Mother, the astonishment became overwhelming. The once white robe had now turned a gentle light blue, as soft as the color was neither a reflection of light nor a shadow cast upon the statue, because when they turned off all the chapel lights to verify it, the blue color remained clearly visible under the flickering candlelight. A doctor in the prayer group checked it again with a flashlight. His eyes never left the statue of the Blessed Mother. And he told everyone, "It cannot be explained by physics. The statue did not change color because of the light. It had truly changed color." That night, hundreds of people stayed until dawn. Many could not hold back their tears. They knelt for a long time beside the Mother's statue because they believed that Mother Mary had been present, silently granting blessings and hearing the community's heartfelt prayers. Afterward, the Mother's statue kept its blue color for several more days. Then it gradually returned to its original white color. Some people said it was the Mother's reply. She changed the color of her robe to let us know that she had heard her children's voices. This phenomenon was never officially recognized by the Church, but it became one of the holiest memories for those who were present that night. To them, the Mother was not merely a lifeless statue. She was a living mother who loved, cared for, and remained very close. From a small parish in Bien Hoa, where a white robe turned blue in the night, we continue to another land, where mysterious mountains rise, where a statue of the Blessed Mother from the deep forest became the nation's largest pilgrimage center. The next miracle was not just a single apparition, but a series of extraordinary signs that caused millions to bow in reverence. Let us climb the mountain together, where Our Lady of Ta Pao is waiting with open arms. Miracle 4, the Blessed Mother appears on Bai Dau Hill in Vang, where the light never goes out. If Vang was where the Mother protected her children from persecution, then Ta Pao is where she comforts suffering souls. At Bai Dau Hill, Mother Mary appears as a gentle reminder. I am always here, in your everyday life, through every rise and fall you face. Located on the slope of Big Mountain in the coastal city of Vang Hill is not only a famous pilgrimage site but also a place filled with miraculous stories. The 25-meter-tall statue of the Blessed Mother faces the sea, her arms outstretched as though embracing the entire beloved southern land. A miraculous story, light from heaven and tears from stone. At the beginning of 1992, a group of pilgrims from the Mekong Delta came to Bai Dau to pray for a daughter suffering from a terminal illness. On the way up the hill, the sky suddenly darkened with a storm. Heavy rain poured down, forcing the entire group to take shelter beneath the Mother's statue. In what seemed like a moment of despair, a brilliant white light shone from the head of the statue, illuminating the entire rain-soaked area. Many said the light was unlike lightning or a lamp, it was warm and gentle. Yet it pierced their hearts, causing them to fall to their knees and weep. The mother leading the group cried out, "Mother, I entrust my daughter to you. Please do not abandon her." And that very night, the daughter, who had been unconscious back home, regained consciousness. She gradually recovered afterward, even though doctors had predicted she had only a few weeks to live. That was not the only astonishing phenomenon. In 2005, local residents and pilgrims witnessed the Mother's statue shedding tears. Small drops flowed from the Mother's eyes, with no rain or dew, running down the cheeks of the stone statue. The event lasted for 3 days. It occurred after a tragic accident claimed many lives on a nearby road. People believed the mother was weeping for her children who had departed without time to prepare their souls. After those events, Bai Dau Hill became a place visited even by non-Christians. Many shared that they did not know why they felt drawn to come. Yet after sitting beneath the statue, they felt their hearts purified. Some had intended to end their lives, but after climbing the hill, they chose to keep living. One young woman once said, "I am a sinner. I left my home and abandoned my faith. But when I looked into the mother's eyes from the hill, I felt no condemnation. I only saw her tears, and I knew I had to return." Bai Dau is not a place of noisy miracles or fanatical crowds. Yet thousands of quiet miracles have taken place here. People returning home, addicts breaking free, marriages on the verge of collapse restored, and souls rediscovering the light. The mother does not appear only through light or tears. She appears through the transformation of human hearts, something no camera can truly capture, yet the most genuine miracle of all. Groups of people still climb the hill, holding rosaries and praying each prayer beneath the fading sunlight. The wind mingles with the whispered prayers, forming a sacred hymn. And in silence, the mother continues watching over every person, every child returning to the faith. From Bai Dau, we travel back to the 19th century, when Quang Nam was still shrouded in the flames of religious persecution. And the cries of persecuted Catholics echoed through the deep forests. It was then that Mother Mary appeared once again, this time with the mission of fighting, protecting, and defending at the holy site of Ta Pao. You would never imagine that a military assault with modern weapons was halted by a woman in white standing in midair. And an entire village was miraculously saved. Let us continue with miracle number 5 together with Duc Tin Audio. Mother Mary at Ta Pao, Queen and Protector of the Church in Vietnam. Miracle number 5, Our Lady of Ta Pao, Queen of the Vietnamese Martyrs. In 1885, while the nation was engulfed in the turmoil of the Can Vang movement, in a small village in Quang Nam province, the Catholics of Ta Pao lived through the darkest days in the history of their faith. The Vang movement did not only rise against the French, it also regarded Christians as collaborators with foreign powers who had to be eliminated. Persecutions broke out everywhere, and the blood of Catholics soaked the soil of Vietnam. Ta Pao, a small village nestled among the hills, became a refuge for hundreds of parishioners. They lived in fear, surrounded day and night by Vang and forces lying in wait. Ta Pao Church stood in the middle of a valley, surrounded by rugged mountains. There was no escape, no reinforcements, no way out. In what seemed like a hopeless moment, on an afternoon in September 1885, a miracle occurred. Several parishioners were praying inside the church. They suddenly saw, above Bu Chao Hill, behind the church, a gentle figure, appearing in radiant light. It was a woman wearing a white cloak, holding the infant Jesus in her arms. Her eyes looked upon humanity with boundless compassion. She stood there, amid dazzling heavenly light, quietly stretching out her arms as if to shield all those who were under siege. From that very moment, the news spread throughout the parish. The mother has appeared. She is on Bu Chao Hill. An elderly villager who had lived through many persecutions affirmed that the figure was indeed the Blessed Virgin Mary, and that she had come to protect her children. And indeed, after the day the Blessed Mother appeared, strange events began to unfold. The Vang forces, who had been tightening the siege, suddenly fell into panic. Some witnesses recounted that they saw an army dressed in white descending from the hill, accompanied by a mysterious light and loud cries that terrified the soldiers into fleeing. The arrows and stones hurled at the church caused no damage. Meanwhile, the parishioners, though completely unarmed, remained unharmed. The siege lasted for many days before ending in an extraordinary way, and all the Catholics of Ta Pao were miraculously saved. From then on, Ta Pao was no longer an unknown village. It became the first Marian shrine in Vietnam, where the mother not only appeared but also directly fought to protect her children. In 1971, Bishop Pharaoh Maria Pham Ngoc Chi of Da Nang officially proclaimed the apparition at Ta Pao under the title Our Lady of Ta Pao, Queen of the Vietnamese Martyrs, to commemorate her powerful protection during that bloody period. Today, when pilgrims come to Ta Pao, they still see the statue of the Blessed Mother standing majestically facing on the church and holding the infant Jesus, as if reminding the Vietnamese people the mother is still watching from above. She never abandons. The Vietnamese people. Ta Pao is not merely
still
a
watching
historical
from above.
place.
She
It is
never
a living
abandons
testimony
us.
to a miracle
And
amid
blood.
tears. To a mother who stood in the line of fire to save her children. And to a faith that could never. If at Ta Pao the mother appeared to protect her children from physical death and the persecution then in a small village in Nayan, where people had never known the Blessed Mother, another quietly
miracle.
awakened the first spark of faith in simple hearts. It was no longer a story of bloodshed, but of a small statue shedding tears, enough to turn a quiet countryside into sacred ground. And that is the sixth miracle, the Weeping Madonna of Nayan. There are tears that need no explanation. For their silent presence is itself a cry of sorrow from heaven. On an early autumn day in 2011, at a small parish in Nayan province, a strange event occurred. The statue of the Blessed Mother in the church grounds suddenly shed tears, with visible drops flowing from her eyes, running down her cheeks and leaving gentle wet streaks. It was seen not by just one person but by hundreds of witnesses, including priests, parishioners, and even non-Catholics, all of whom saw it with their own eyes and were deeply moved. At first, many wondered whether it was merely condensation or rainwater seeping from somewhere. But when every physical explanation was ruled out, no rain, no water pipes, no signs of condensation, and there was only a plaster statue that had stood there for many years, then only one possibility remained. The mother was truly
One
weeping.
witness,
A middle-aged woman who was there, recalled. I had just walked by when I suddenly heard people murmuring. When I came closer, I saw tears flowing from the mother's eyes. I could not remain standing. I collapsed to my knees and burst into tears. The parish priest had photographs taken and videos recorded but did not rush to make them public. He said, "This is not to attract attention, but to remind us to pray, repent, and return." A group of experts from outside the diocese was invited to investigate. They found no signs of fabrication. The liquid was collected for testing, and surprisingly, it was salty. Just like human tears. From that day on, the grounds of that small parish became a spontaneous pilgrimage site. People came quietly from provinces across central Vietnam, holding rosaries and kneeling at the mother's feet, offering whispered prayers from the depths of their hearts for their families, for the nation, and for a faith that had grown weary. But why did the mother weep in Nayan? Nayan is a place with a deep religious tradition, but it was also the site of many persecutions throughout history. More than 100 years ago, during the era when the kings outlawed Christianity, were beheaded, imprisoned, and died in prison simply for keeping their faith. Could it be that the mother grieves because her children in a land once soaked with the blood of martyrs are slowly drifting away from God? Could she be weeping for a nation that was once courageous but has now grown weary, doubtful, and ready to abandon hope? Or is she weeping for lonely mothers and lost children? For families falling apart in a poor countryside struggling with both material and spiritual hardships? Those tears, though silent, became a profound invitation. My child, do not come only when you are in need, return even after you have forgotten. After that event, there was no official declaration from the Vatican regarding the miracle in Nayan. But for those who were there that day, and for those who came later yet felt something deeply real within their hearts, the mother had truly been without present, needing confirmation from anywhere. For when the human heart is moved, it is because God is there. The seventh miracle. Mother Mary weeps at Ba Chuang Church. Saigon, 1989. Saigon in 1989. A city entering a period of transformation. After so many years of war and renewal, in that bustling current of life, hidden behind the busy streets of Tan Ben district, there was a small church, yet deeply cherished by the local people. Ba Chuang Church. And it was there. On an afternoon that seemed perfectly ordinary, a sacred event changed a person's life. And from then on, quietly spread faith for many years afterward. The woman and her desperate prayer. It is said that afternoon, a weary-looking middle-aged woman, with anxious eyes, she quietly walked into Ba Chuang Church. No one knew her name, only that she was suffering from a strange illness. The doctors had little hope left. The medicine was no longer effective, and her heart, that of a woman who had grown up in the Catholic faith, could only cling to the Virgin Mary as her last hope. She knelt before the statue of the Blessed Mother. At the table on the right side of the church where the statue of the Blessed Mother was placed. She knelt before the statue of the Blessed Mother. That statue was familiar on the right side of the church where the nearly 1 meter tall plaster statue of the Blessed Mother was suddenly became different. The woman later recounted that while praying the rosary, she suddenly felt compelled to open her eyes. And at that very moment, she saw a tiny drop of water running down from the left corner of the Blessed Mother's eye. At first, she thought she was imagining it, but the drop did not disappear. It seemed to fall gently, slowly, as though the Blessed Mother were weeping. The drop rolled down the statue's cheek, then gradually spread, wetting the Blessed Mother's cheek and mouth. A moment later, the woman burst into tears, not out of fear, but because her heart had suddenly awakened, and her despair seemed to melt away. In the dim candlelight and the sacred silence, she whispered, "Mother, if you truly hear me, please save me." That day, she stayed until evening, then returned home carrying a faith she had never known before. The very day of the miracle, from that day on, the woman returned to the church every day at the same hour, kneeling before the Blessed Mother's statue and praying the rosary. Nothing more, only silently prayed, "Mother, please walk with me." On the third day, she was able to sleep for the first time after many weeks of sleepless nights caused by pain. By the sixth day, the severe pain in her abdomen had greatly subsided, and on the ninth day, when she returned to Cho Ray Hospital for another examination, the results astonished both the doctors and her family. The tumor in her liver had completely disappeared. The woman could not explain it. The doctors could not explain it either, but in her heart, she knew. The Blessed Mother had shed tears not out of sorrow, but to reach someone in despair and lead them back to the faith. After that event, rumors spread widely about the weeping statue of the Blessed Mother at Ba Trung Church. Many people came. Some simply stood quietly for a while others knelt down and cried. No one ever saw the Blessed Mother statue weep again, but everyone felt there was something profoundly real in her gaze. So human, so full of compassion. The parish priests at the time did not officially declare it a miracle, but neither did they deny the testimony. For the true miracle was not the tear itself, but the return of a soul that had once lost all hope. Miracle 8. The Blessed Mother's statue emits the fragrance of roses in a poor coastal village near Phan Thiet. The villagers were preparing for a Marian procession during the month of Mary, the month dedicated to honoring the Virgin Mary. The Blessed Mother's statue was carried from one house to another as a form of traveling prayer. Each family welcomed the Blessed Mother for one night, praying together, reciting the rosary, and asking for her protection. But one special night, as the procession passed through a narrow alley filled with gravel and shabby houses, something extraordinary happened. An elderly blind woman living alone in a fragile shack suddenly exclaimed, "I smell roses. Mother has arrived." At first, everyone thought the old woman was confused, but just a few minutes later, the entire procession suddenly stopped. Many people simultaneously noticed a gentle, sweet fragrance of roses drifting through the night air. No one in the procession was carrying flowers, and no one was wearing perfume. Yet the fragrance lingered around the statue of the Blessed Mother being carried. A middle-aged woman burst into tears. "This is Mother's fragrance. Mother is walking among this poor village. Mother has not abandoned us." The next day, the story spread throughout the island village. People began coming to pray at the foot of the Blessed Mother's statue. Some had been ill for a long time, without any medicine, but after a week of prayer, their health gradually recovered. Some married couples who had been in conflict, after praying together before the Blessed Mother's statue, returned home holding hands once again. There were even non-believers who came only out of curiosity, but ended up weeping as they stood before the Blessed Mother's statue emitting the fragrance from the Diocese of Phan Thiet came to witness it, and confirmed that there was no natural explanation for the fragrance. This is a sign that the Blessed Mother is spiritually present among the poor, the suffering, the humble. The fragrance of roses was not merely a physical phenomenon. In Catholic theology, the rose is a symbol of God's love, of sacred beauty and holy presence. When that fragrance radiates from the Blessed Mother's statue in such a poor and deserted place, it is a gentle yet powerful affirmation that I do not dwell among the powerful and the noble. I dwell among you, those who suffer, who are forgotten, and whom no one remembers. The statue of the mother not only gave off a fragrance, but also made the flowers of hope bloom in what seemed to be the most barren place of faith. Like the fragrance the mother bestows, faith also quietly spreads. Faith also quietly spreads, but where no one can feel it. And just as the fragrance of flowers cannot be held in one's hands, the mother's miracle does not remain in one place. She continues on to the darkest corners of the human soul. Wherever there are tears, there is the mother's presence. The ninth miracle. The statue of the mother exuding fragrant oil in May 2020. At the height of the widespread pandemic, an extraordinary event occurred in a Catholic family in Quang Binh, a central region long tested by harsh nature, economic hardship, and even challenges to faith. What seemed like nothing more than a rumor in a poor island village gradually spread and caused many to reconsider the sacred relationship between God, the Blessed Mother, and the Vietnamese people. Mr. T's family, living in an old island village, kept a wooden statue of the Blessed Mother in their living room, about 60 centimeters tall, a gift he had received from a priest friend during a pilgrimage to the holy site of Vang. The statue appeared ordinary, with the gentle face of Mother Mary and hands embracing the Immaculate Heart, but it was an anchor of faith through many of life's trials. On a morning at the beginning of the month of Mary, the month dedicated to the Blessed Mother, Mrs. L., Mr. T's wife, when she suddenly noticed shimmering drops of oil flowing from the statue's right hand. She immediately called her husband, and both of them witnessed the oil flowing down and soaking the statue's robe. Strangely, the scent from the oil was not unpleasant. Instead, it was sweet and gentle, like jasmine with a hint of rose. Throughout the following 2 weeks, the statue continued to exude oil whenever the whole family prayed the rosary together at 7 p.m. The oil did not flow in large streams but dripped steadily, starting from the hand and gently spreading down the statue's robe. Once, a curious grandchild wiped some of it with a finger. The fragrance remained on the child's finger for many hours. When word spread, neighbors from the island village came one after another. Some brought cloths to wipe the oil. Some knelt down and wept with emotion. In particular, a woman named Hat, who had early-stage cancer, prayed before the statue continuously for 3 days. Afterward, follow-up test results showed that her tumor had disappeared. Not wanting to create a public sensation or cause misunderstandings about the family, invited the parish priest to investigate. Father Yes P.T., who had lived in the region for more than 30 years, verified the event. The priest used a clean cloth to collect the oil and had it simply tested. The results showed no industrial components. There were no signs of fabrication, only natural essential oil of unknown origin. Father Yes declared before the parish community that this phenomenon could not be explained by physics or technology. If it was not a miracle, then it was at least a powerful sign. The Blessed Mother is present among us. After that event, Mr. T's family did not sell the statue, nor did they organize grand masses. They simply kept the mother in their humble home as a testament of love. The fragrant oil continued to appear every Sunday evening, but the family quietly continued to venerate her at home. People say, heaven may be far away, but the mother's fragrance is always close enough to make people believe that she is truly here, amid the wind and sand of Quang Binh, among poor lives filled with faith. Miracle 10. The mother's statue sprouts a strange flower from a concrete floor in Dong Nai, in October 2022. In Yen Bin Island village in Dong Nai province, a local family placed a statue of Our Lady of the Rosary in the middle of the concrete courtyard in front of their home. It was a white porcelain statue about 70 centimeters tall, placed on a brick pedestal with no soil, entirely on solid concrete. The family had the habit of praying the Rosary every evening and especially honoring the Blessed Mother, particularly during the month of the Rosary. On the morning of October 7th, the feast of Our Lady of the Rosary, the mother of the family, Mrs. Tam, 48 years old, as usual stepped into the yard to light incense at the mother's feet. A pure white flower with 5 petals like a frangipani had sprouted directly from the concrete beside the base of the statue. There was not a drop of water nor a patch of soil. Yet the flower grew, reaching straight upward. The whole family was bewildered. They bent down to inspect it closely. The concrete floor remained intact. There were no cracks or holes. They touched the flower's stem, which was attached firmly to the concrete, as though it had grown from the concrete itself. No one had brought the flower there. No one had planted it. A gentle fragrance spread through the air, a faint scent like jasmine blended with frangipani. The family did not dare pull up the flower. They only lit candles and prayed continuously for 3 days. People from the surrounding neighborhood came after hearing the news. Some recorded videos, while others took photographs. Many said, "The mother is sending us a sign." A flower blooming from dry concrete was like faith blossoming amid life's trials. The parish priest was invited to witness it. After careful examination, he confirmed this was not an illusion. After witnessing it and examining it carefully, the flower had grown without any soil, this was not and remarkably it appeared exactly on the feast of Our Lady of the Rosary. He did not declare it to be a miracle officially recognized by the Church, but called it a spiritual event worthy of prayer and reflection. Some parishioners shared that after visiting the statue and praying there, they felt an extraordinary sense of peace and their worries faded away. Some said that their long-term insomnia improved after praying at the statue where the flower had bloomed. Lasted exactly 3 days. The miraculous flower from October 7th to October 9th. Then, when light rain fell on the morning of the 4th day, the flower gradually withered and disappeared. The family kept one dried petal as a keepsake, placing it in a small glass frame, considering it a gift from the mother. This miracle was not or noisy, but carried a profound message. The soil of your life is dry and cold. If you allow the mother to reign, then the flower of grace can still bloom, like that very white flower amid the concrete, symbolizing hope, faith, and the living presence of Mother Mary in the lives of the faithful. Modern society filled with doubt does not appear through dazzling light or spectacular miracles, but through a very gentle, very subtle sign, a tiny flower, yet enough to move an entire community of faith. That miraculous flower bloomed only when people prayed sincerely, perhaps in each of our lives. When we make room for the mother in our hearts, then an inner flower, too, will. Dear friend, the 10 miracles of Mother Mary are not merely signs that happened in the past, but living reminders that she is still present, quietly accompanying and healing each child throughout every corner of Vietnam. Perhaps you have never witnessed an obvious miracle. If a burden has been lifted after listening to these stories, your heart suddenly feels lighter. If a spark of hope has arisen, or you feel drawn to return to God, then that itself is a miracle. Do not hesitate to run to Mother Mary in silence, in tears, or with a simple rosary prayer, because perhaps the next miracle is meant for you. If this video has touched your heart, please leave a prayer in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the Duc Tin audio channel. Turn on notifications so you won't miss miraculous stories of faith, Mother Mary, and journeys of healing for the soul. See you again in the upcoming videos. May Mother Mary always keep you in grace and peace.